Hi, my name's Katie Rose, and I'm really honoured to share my story with you today. I'm a mother and a survivor and an advocate for mental health and awareness, particularly regarding birth trauma. So, my views on pregnancy and motherhood before I had given birth or become a mother, I think I viewed motherhood with a mixture of excitement and anticipation, um, slightly apprehensive because I'd never really held a baby before. I'd never looked after a baby, so everything seemed quite abstract to me. I think I had, lots of dreams about bonding with my baby and how creating a loving family would look, and my kind of idealistic visions of how it would be. But it was completely different to actually stepping into the role of being a mother. And I think it came as quite a shock and quite a surprise how different that was. So my experience of pregnancy, the first time, was really beautiful. I had a very healthy pregnancy and a normal pregnancy, so I was very, very blessed. But then it came to my birth experience, which was really, really unexpected, really, really challenging, and came with a lot of trauma. So the kind of joyous anticipation turned into really what was a nightmare situation as complications arose. My daughter ended up spending the first week of her life in intensive care. I was separated from her on day one, so I didn't actually see her until around 12 hours after she was delivered via emergency C-section. So we had no skin on skin, no instant kind of bonding, and that was, I think, led to quite an unnatural feeling within my body, to the point where when I first met her, I didn't really even think she was my baby. So it was really disempowering, the whole experience. It was really overwhelming. And I came away, I think I was in shock for a long time. Got to hold her on day 4 with all of the wires and everything. And luckily she came home healthy after a week. But I then just went into completely traumatized state of being for probably the next year, the first year of her life. So I started to notice that my kind of, I suppose, emotional levels and the way that I was operating wasn't necessarily normal. And I know that normal looks different for so many different women and mothers. I started to realize things like my sleep, for example. Even when the baby was sleeping, I wouldn't be able to sleep. I was completely wired. I was kind of guarding her vigilantly like a dog. I was very, very anxious with other people coming near her. I was very, very controlling about her routines. So in terms of her feeding her, her naps, that kind of thing. And I think really I started Googling things, and I kind of started reading about postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety. And I really resonated with a lot of the symptoms, and it wasn't what I thought postpartum depression was, because I do feel like I loved my baby. I love my baby. I bonded with her, but it was like a complete loss of sense of self. And It was very, very overwhelming, manifesting as kind of anxiety, depression. And in the end, I got diagnosed with PTSD from the birth trauma. So I found MumsAid on, I think it was Google. I found MumsAid on Google, and they were a local charity, and I got invaluable support with from them through their resources, and actually that helped me through my darkest moments. So pretty quickly they were giving me counselling, and the counsellor said to me, this isn't going to work for you. Talk therapy isn't going to work for you because your trauma is held in your body, because my nervous system had registered the birth really as an attack. And so I was then referred to an EMDR specialist. So this is emotional release trauma therapy. And pretty soon I was able to work through the, I suppose, trauma that was trapped in my nervous system, and actually start to get decent sleep, have moments where I felt slightly more grounded, slightly more myself, but it was very much a new sense of self. And actually this therapy and support helped me redefine that new sense of self and find healing amongst the pain and the trauma that was still there. So this happened, my daughter's almost 3 now, and I probably had support for the first year, which was fundamental to me transitioning from maiden to mother. Since then, I have been almost continuing the work myself through some of the techniques that I was taught by the MumsAid counsellor and therapist. Often it will come to self-care, and I think when I'm feeling overwhelmed by being a mum or being pregnant, or some of the responsibilities or the worries, it really means that I need to attend to myself, and that I'm not mothering myself in the way that I really need. It might be as simple as taking a walk on my own. It might be as simple as making myself a really nutritious meal. I do really like meditation and getting into the body, like the EMDR therapy teaches you to do, and actually just checking in with my body and kind of saying, what's going on here, having a conversation with that inner voice, and trying to accept the difficult emotions and feelings that come up with motherhood, rather than assume I'm doing it wrong and I'm not good enough, and it should all feel joyful and lovely, but actually embracing the dark with the light. So I think very much in life there's a duality, and with motherhood it's exactly the same. It's just the darker side is so much more taboo, because we're supposed to be mothers and we're supposed to almost pretend like everything's rosy all of the time, but actually being more in touch with my darker side, I think, has helped me to mother better. When something difficult happens and I'm upset, and my daughter sees me cry, or she sees me feeling sad, she says, "Mommy, you're feeling sad," and I say yes. And I don't necessarily go into details with her, but we talk about that's okay to feel sad, and it's okay to cry. Just like, toddlers will have those emotions happening all day, every day. So I think just being a bit more vulnerable and not trying to pretend like everything's okay all the time has been ongoing, and letting go of that idea of kind of perfectionism, and the mother I thought I was. I'm the mother I am because of the experiences I've had. And I think yeah, that's just something to come back to constantly. It's okay to have those dark thoughts and feelings, and we can, express those to each other and hold space for each other. And in just simply doing that is the healing, I think. I think the societal narrative around motherhood has come quite far from where we perhaps used to be in times gone by, and in perhaps when we were living more in close proximity to each other in as tribes, or in a smaller kind of close culture. I think there's a lack of sense of community, even though we're all so connected via the internet, and we have NCT groups and we have baby groups, but actually within that can be a toxicity around this positive projection of ourselves. And I really think that what's lacking in modern culture and society to support mothers is the kind of the community support, the holding of each other, the natural doing of those things, rather than saying, no, everything's fine, I can manage, and actually accepting and asking, no, actually, I really would like a food parcel today, or I really would like you to take my daughter for a few hours, and next week I'll take your son. And this kind of reciprocal balance that can support each other when we're going through those difficult times, rather than trying to hold it together all the time. So I think that's really what's missing. It's this kind of sense of riding the waves together, and being a little bit more accepting of the help, but being more authentic to how we're actually feeling, I think, is the first step. So asking for help, accepting help, not trying to hold it all down all the time, and actually creating a culture where that's easier to do. I think to other mothers who have experienced birth trauma, I just want to extend my empathy and assurance that you're not alone. I think it's really important to seek help and to ask for help, and allow yourself the time and space to heal. And that's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. I think reaching out to organisations like MumsAid is the first step, and actually you'll be surprised how quickly your wounds can turn to wisdom, and how they can alchemize as really profound lessons for you, but also your children and your family. And it's a healing journey. We're trying to bring ourselves back into balance with expressing how we're feeling, and it's really brave to do that. And I think, allowing yourself time and patience and self-compassion, you can really reclaim your narrative of how you want to mother. And part of that is accepting what's happened, accepting the dark with the light, and moving through it. And you can reclaim your strength as a woman and as a mother, and what was your birthright to do, and be here for.